wonderful people. I hope that you guys are doing well. So the format of this video and the reading is going to be somewhat different to how I do them usually. Today I'm showing my face, as I usually don't do in the readings. There are actually two things that I wanted to talk about in this video, and one of them is the death of Sinead O'Connor. The other one is human trafficking and the movie that just came out, I think it was directed by Mel Gibson, if I'm not wrong. I just finished watching that movie and it was very touching, so I really want to pull a few cards in regards to what is being presented in that movie and how things are. So today's reading's main focus will be human trafficking. The death of Sinead O'Connor, I think, is something that is so relatable to every single one of us, because if we talk about mental health and trauma, there are more and more people now that are understanding childhood trauma and complex trauma and PTSD and how those things are affecting our society and how those things are affecting the individual. And I think her death is relatable because it is showing us that even though we might think that the world is ready for that information, we are still facing that alone. I have been thinking this past period about the fact that without the distractions that people are having nowadays, and without that stimulus that we are having every single day, not many people would survive the energies. There are many things that are coming up in the collective consciousness in regards to childhood trauma, unresolved issues, ancestral wounds that need to be addressed, that many people just cannot make it, and that's why they are choosing an exit point. I read some comments. I don't know what kind of video I watched some time ago, like a few weeks ago, and people were commenting under that video saying that suicide is something that can be prevented very easily by just positive focus and focusing on the positive side of our society and the world and our lives. And I so don't agree with that, because positive focus can only help you to a certain degree. I dare to say that the majority of the society and the human population is suicidal. There are very, very few people in the world that are having that spiritual centeredness and spiritual strength. And I'm not talking about positive focus and distractions, but I'm talking about real spiritual strength, that if you take away the distractions that people have, if you take away their daily habits, things that they can identify with, there's not much that is keeping them alive. So I always say, and I always ask myself, who would we be, who we are without things that we identify ourselves with, who we are without our work, without our jobs, who we are without these distractions. How many of us cannot be suicidal? How many of us can see the real purpose of life and have the real purpose of life and that real passion that is keeping us going? Not many of us. So take away people's safety net and distraction, and you will realize that we are no different than Sinead O'Connor. We are no different than those people that are battling with mental health every day. We are all doing the same thing. We are just coping with it in different ways. Okay, so this is such a taboo still, and I think we have arrived to the point where we can look at these things from a completely different perspective. And now watching this video about the sound of freedom and human trafficking and child trafficking, it's almost weird to say and strange to say that her passing is so timely, because she was, that brave, courageous person that raised awareness about what is going on in the Catholic Church as well. And she created a lot of controversy. She received a lot of hate from the world, from the society, because she was a pioneer in that area, pioneer in raising awareness about something that the world wasn't prepared for. And she kept going and she kept fighting, and the passing of her child as well was extremely hard on her. And I think that was the boiling point when she could not take it anymore. So her death is showing us and is teaching us to pay attention to these things and to pay attention to ourselves and how much we are ashamed about how we feel and how we don't want to feel and these kind of things. To pay attention to our own shame as well when it comes to our mental state and emotional state as well. So the world is definitely ready for much more awareness about emotions, how we are expressing our emotions. And again, this movie was very touching, and I wanted to pull a few cards in regards to that, as I said, because I think what was presented in the movie is very cruel. It is very much the reality, but the reality is even more cruel than what we have seen on the screen. Okay, so let's pull a few cards and let's see what is that we are getting about child trafficking and human trafficking. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles and the Two of Wands, and I chose this deck because it's been, okay, one second, yeah, it's been quite a long time that I used this deck. So the Three of Pentacles is my card of Masons. I always say that. Okay, so the Three of Pentacles talks about secret societies and underground networks that are part of this whole thing. And also with the Two of Wands, I feel like there are things that are related to the future and to these societies that will come out. So there are certain patterns and things related to these secret societies that might come out in the future, and there might be discussed more and more. Now we also have the Two of Pentacles, and that is talking about an exchange of money. So unfortunately, the main purpose of these secret societies and these networks is still money, is profit. Obviously, if we think about a higher level, then we can understand that this is much more than just profit. So there's profit to a certain degree, to a certain level, but above that level, this is talking about more like a ritualistic stuff, and also is having to do with the innocence of children, so kind of breaking the innocence of children. But the main reason still in the world behind human trafficking is a lot of profit, and these very influential people obviously paying a lot. So yeah, the Three of Pentacles is definitely saying that there's something related to profit. And then we also have strength. So strength is that feminine, beautiful energy. And it's interesting because I feel like we had the Two of Wands, which is talking about the future and looking into the future and having plans in regards to the future. And I also feel like this particular movie has raised already awareness about what is really going on. And the strength next to it is talking about the public and how people are viewing this situation and what kind of repercussions this movie will have on the collective. So actually that's great news. Let me see what is the next card. So we have the Chariot reversed. And we have the Devil. Yeah. So unfortunately, this will be very, very hard for humanity to deal with. So the Devil is talking about people that are very influential, as I said, and he's talking about addiction as well, being addicted to these patterns and being addicted to power and control. So the way that I'm reading this, okay, these two cards, these two major arcanas, is that the Devil at some point will experience some roadblocks when moving forward because the Chariot is reversed. So that is talking about challenges, and it will be harder and harder for this addictive energy to just get away with the crime. So it will be harder and harder for those that are being invested in these kind of circles and in these kind of networks and secret societies to get away with their crimes. Okay, the other way that I'm reading this with the Chariot reverse is that humanity is encountering roadblocks, and it will be extremely difficult for humanity to put an end to human trafficking and to child trafficking as well. Okay, what is the next one? We have the Six of Swords reversed, and we have the King of Cups. Okay, so the Six of Swords reverse is saying that there is some upheaval in the energies of exchanging energy. Let's say exchanging services for a certain amount of money. And the King of Cups is, yeah, I feel like we are getting to a place of much more compassion and much more empathy when it comes to dealing with these things. And there's like an understanding in the collective that the only way to deal with these things is if we come together, because the King of Cups is representing that beautiful energy of the collective, the energy of coming together and that unity consciousness. Okay, And we have just came out of, I mean, not just, but like 2 weeks ago, of Cancer season. And that is a very sensitive season where lots of things related to motherhood and also the father. So the mother and the father are coming to the awareness of the collective. So I'm not sure when this movie came out, but I know that more and more people are talking about it. So we have the Six of Swords reversed, and as I said, that is talking about an exchange of energy that is kind of upside down. So whatever we are offering, whatever service is being offered for a certain amount of money is not kind of equal with the money that is bringing. So I don't know how to explain that. So it feels like there's a breaking of some patterns in these secret societies. So there's some breaking. It is so hot in my room, by the way, so oh my god, I'm sweating. Yeah, so definitely there's some breaking in patterns in terms of how these things are working. So I feel like with the Chariot reversed, there's no more movement forward in the same manner. So there's something that is happening and slowly will start to happen in the collective that will make it harder and harder to get away with the crimes. So this is how I'm reading that. Okay, and it's a little bit like the energies that we are putting into something and the money that we are receiving for that service is not worth the risk, kind of. Okay, let me see what is the next card. 8 of Wands and 7 of Cups. So 7 of Cups is reversed. There's some rapid change and there is something in regards to selecting something. So there's much more disillusionment in the collective about certain things. Yeah, we have the King of Pentacles as well. So there's something related to money and profit and how we are making profit out of these things, and we have to be more careful about that. That looks like a little bit like the devil as well, that King of Pentacles. So there's a lot of corruption still in very high levels, in very high institutions, but we have to be careful how we are dealing with that. Yeah, there are some changes that are coming, guys. And the Age of Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius will give a hard time to these people, to these top-down societies, not only governments, but institutions, to get away with the crimes. Okay, so I really hope that there will be some justice in that sense. So, Spirit, please tell us what is that we can expect in the future in terms of this. So we have the Queen of Pentacles that is upright. So much more feminine energy and like a feminine approach when it comes to dealing with these things. And we have the Nine of Cups that is reversed. Judgment is upright. And the Page of Swords. So I feel like there will be a lot of emphasis put on how we are dealing with that. And many people demanding justice. So Judgment is upright, which is saying that we are at crossroads right now. So there are some changes in the energies and, as I said, in the patterns as well. But the Nine of Cups reverse is saying that we are not getting what we want, or not just yet. So there will be certain energies and certain things that need to work out and will need to run their course before any change is happening. Okay, what else, Spirit? What else you can say about this situation? What is that we can expect? What is that we can expect? The Hermit. Isolation. But the Hermit is also talking about spiritual influences. So I feel like we as a collective, we need to go through the dark night of the soul in order to make changes. Because the more the change is happening from within, the more we will see these things from a different perspective, and the more we will understand how much we are connected to each other, and whatever is happening to the other person is happening to me as well, and whatever I'm doing to the other person, actually I'm doing to myself. So it's really like more love-based energy in the collective that will give us a different perspective, you know, the ability to take the other person as part of ourselves, and that's what we are needing. We have the Knight of Swords as well that is reversed. So there's a lot of fighting and there's a lot of justice that people are demanding, because the Knight of Swords is this energy of, okay, we are angry and we want justice, but we know that this is a very hard process and we cannot fight it 100% just by using our willpower and energy. because the change needs to happen from the inside out. Okay, so the Hermit is talking about spiritual influences, and he's talking about spiritual awakening as well, just as Judgment. And that collective spiritual awakening needs to happen in order things for change, because otherwise it will be very, very difficult to fight these things just by using force. Ten of Cups. Yeah, Ten of Cups is that sense of community and taking the other person as part of ourselves. Page of Wands. That is the energy of children. And then we have the Hierophant. So the change needs to happen within the institutions as well, in order for things to start to change in the world on a large scale. And we have the Three of Cups reversed as well, which is saying that we are not united enough. And as long as we are not united, we cannot make changes. Yeah, so unfortunately, this is something that we just cannot fight with external forces, and no matter how hard we are trying to expose these societies, and no matter how much of these secrets are getting revealed, the real healing needs to happen from the inside out, you know, by realizing that we are all one. Okay, let me pull a couple of cards about Sinead O'Connor as well. Sinead O'Connor. So Sinead O'Connor and her death. So we have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, like her death was definitely the end of a cycle, end of her, you know, hardships. The Ten of Wands is carrying a lot. She has been carrying a lot in her entire life. There was a lot of ancestral trauma and wounds that she was carrying. And the Ten of Wands is talking about, you know, the end of that cycle, that completion, when she can get released and relieved of those burdens. Seven of Swords. And we have the Four of Cups. Yeah. So what I feel like is happening in the collective right now, because the Seven of Swords is talking about like that energy of hiding, and we are tricking ourselves and we are tricking each other, and there's this energy of denial as well, which we are all having, not having strong boundaries, not having adequate boundaries when it comes to saying no to things. We are carrying a lot, we are carrying lots of burdens, difficulties in life, yet we are failing to ask for help because we don't trust each other. So the Seven of Swords talks about this energy of hiding, almost like the realization about what we are. So her death was serving as a realization about in which areas of our lives we are carrying a lot, as she did, and in which areas of our lives we are experiencing this unbearable energy, yet we are not asking for help. And then the Four of Cups reversed is not being in touch with the needs of each other and not being able to feel into the other person because we are so distracted with our lives, with our, you know, daily habits, and just this survival mechanism that we don't pay attention to each other. So this was her death about, like, to raise awareness about what is going on, and not to mention, you know, what she was also fighting for when she was younger, and that is the lies that were happening in the Catholic Church, and also like things related to children. Okay, Eight of Pentacles as well, reversed. And the Queen of Wands is reversed as well. So I feel like beside the fact that people are seeing her as a pioneer, as I said, and a very great and courageous person, there's a lot of sadness in the society. That sadness is arising now, not just because of her death, but because of what her emotional state is representing for us. Because we see ourselves in her, and every single person can see something in her about themselves. It is really teaching us to pay attention to ourselves a little bit more and to each other. Alright guys, so this is today's reading. I'm so hot, it is so hot in my room. I hope it resonated. So if it did, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and then also if you want to book a personal reading, you will find information about that down below in the description box. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support. Take care, and I cannot wait to see you next time.